Want to know who's who in the Jeffrey Epstein Zoo? Journalists Lisa and Jen bring you the ultimate deep dive. Prince Andrew's crimes are just the start. We'll lay it all out.
Hello and welcome to the Prince and the Pervert podcast. I'm Lisa Tate.
And I'm Jen Tarrant.
And welcome to Alan Dershowitz Disappreciation Day, Jen.
It's our new holiday.
Yes, we've tried to register it but haven't had success, so we're going to make our own up.
Because that's how we roll.
And what do we do on International Dershowitz Day?
What do we do?
We mercilessly take the piss out of him throughout the podcast. Now, you may be wondering, who is Alan Dershowitz?
He's a lawyer, professor he's now known as, for Epstein. Always managed to get the boy out of trouble.
He created the plea deal and met the prosecutors in hotel rooms.
Back in 2008 and before.
And Alan Dershowitz has a link to Virginia Roberts, who tomorrow, our time, 2 p.m. New York time, Tuesday, is requesting some documents be made public that were used in her defamation action against Ghislaine Maxwell. So 2 p.m. tomorrow, the judge is having a meeting with the lawyers, and then we could get a document drop. And Alan Dershowitz is involved because no doubt some of the documents mention him, and not because he's a lawyer. What do you think they're going to say, Jen?
I think they'll drop them, but unfortunately, my gut feeling is they're going to be redacted. There's going to be big black marks everywhere, but we're smart enough. We can read and we can visualise, and with the information that is let loose, we may be able to work out who John Doe is.
Yes, because Alan Dershowitz, we're now an army. It's not just a couple of girls and their lawyers out to reveal all the information here. There's an army. And I want to thank all of you because when this comes out tomorrow, everyone should have a look at it. And everyone's determined, don't you think? Because when I first started, when we both did, I felt like the story was going to die.
But it hasn't. And despite all the distractions everywhere, especially, say, with the Berman issue, which you'll talk about in a moment, you know, it was thrown out late Friday afternoon. The Trump rally was coming up. The news cycle was going elsewhere.
So Jeffrey Berman is the prosecutor from New York, and he was sacked on the request of Donald Trump by the Attorney General, William Barr. Now, we will have more about that. It happened on Friday, but it does feed into the general discourse about this case.
This case and other cases.
So, tomorrow, Dersh has put in an application in relation to these documents, but what makes me think he's a little bit scared and a little bit frightened is he has absolutely gone off on Twitter today about Virginia Giuffre. Now, he's calling her a liar and says that in her manuscript she's never met him. Now, Alan, I have read that manuscript recently. It's only a small 72-page excerpt from a bigger document, and it was fictionalised, and Virginia called herself Jenna.
It was just her writing down stuff. It didn't go into everything she was exposed to. It didn't go into everything that happened to her. Because a lot of these things that did happen to her would have been incredibly hard for anyone to put on paper.
Now, Jen, why would Alan Dershowitz be bothered about a manuscript, all these papers? Could it be due to allegations that Virginia Roberts has made about him?
Think so. Could be. And of course, with the phone conference tomorrow, it's not just Dersh and his legal team. It's not just Virginia and her legal team. It's not just Ghislaine and her legal team. There's also a John Doe is going to be on the phone. Now, John Doe is an individual who, obviously, we don't know his name.
Prince Andrew!
Possibly. But John Doe is also fighting to keep these records, documents sealed because they're worried about the implication of being named.
Now, you may recall Alan Dershowitz from the Netflix documentary, and he is very angry about Virginia. It's very over the top, I thought.
Read some of the tweets. They're insane.
Okay, so he's calling her here a serial liar. She lied about Alan Tipper Gore. She lied about her age. She lied about me. Now, what has he said that she said about him? Nothing, but I've read a lot of documentation about this, and she alleges she was abused several times by Alan Dershowitz. That's the bottom line here. That's what's really bothering him and why he wants to take her down. Now, earlier today was on Fox News, of course, Alan Dershowitz. Very busy today, Jen.
But Fox News, hello.
Anyway, Virginia Roberts was not underage. That's what he doesn't get, Dersh. You're a professor of law. I did 2 semesters of communication law, right? Virginia was trafficked. You cannot consent to being trafficked, even if you are 17.
He just doesn't get it.
Now, I might have told you this, Jen. My friend Shelley is a criminologist, and I got her to have a look at Virginia and Dershowitz during the Netflix documentary. She said to me, Dershowitz is obviously very angry, but he's got a lot of contempt in the side of his mouth about Virginia, but he's also very, very scared. So we need to look at behind that perspective that he's scared and he feels as though he's got to come in hard on Virginia.
Now, Virginia's been quiet on Twitter for about 4 days, and then bang, Dersh starts on her this morning. He's trying to unsettle her before tomorrow's events.
Yes, he calls her a false accuser, which is very, very interesting. So someone said, weren't you on Epstein's island? That's a lie. My wife and daughter were with me the one time I flew to the island, years before Giuffre met Epstein and years before he was suspected of wrongdoing. Show me a flight log that has me going to the island without my wife. You can't because there's not any. Well, no, Alan. We haven't got all of them. Not every single pilot filled out the passenger manifest, did they?
As Maria Farmer said, sometimes she wasn't noted on the logs, and sometimes it was just an initial or a single letter.
Yeah, young female, I think I remember reading. So again, he's incorrect. I never went to the island without my wife and children, and I can prove it, so stop lying. Okay then, right, well, maybe you should prove that you never went to the island without your wife.
And realistically, doesn't matter if your wife's there. And your daughter's there. They could have slept. You could have snuck out for a swim or a massage. No one knows.
Yes, that is an excellent point, Jen.
Did the wife put a chastity belt on him?
Oh, God. Well, speaking of his nether regions...
Do we have to wear white underpants on our head for the day of Alan Dershowitz?
Day? Well, maybe we could.
Maybe we could make it a week.
At least then no one would talk to me in the shops.
They'd steer clear.
Right. The key thing here is... Alan Dershowitz, and you have to excuse us, we've just seen these. They're straight off the tweet, isn't it?
They're tweet hot.
Yeah, they're tweet hot. Dershowitz claims that he had a massage on the island, but it was an old Russian woman, kept his underpants on.
Hence the undies on the head.
Yep. He kept his underpants on. Interesting. Well, I need you to prove that there actually was, Alan, an old Russian woman on the island, because from what I've heard, I've not come across an old Russian woman, but there were lots of Russian girls who couldn't speak any English on that island. Not saying that that's related to Dershowitz, but we do have a pretty good idea that who was on there and when and why.
Plenty of photos floating around. Haven't seen an old bird in them, other than Ghislaine.
And she's not Russian.
No.
So, falsely accusing innocent people is a serious crime that must be seriously investigated. Well, good luck to you, Alan, because from what I know about the defamation laws in the US, it's very hard to win a defamation case because of the protection in the Constitution. Why am I telling Alan?
He should know.
You should know.
See, Virginia made a civil suit against him, and then in November 2019, Dershowitz filed counterclaims in the Southern District of New York, claiming that Virginia libelled him and intentionally inflicted emotional distress through a campaign to spread malicious lies accusing Dershowitz of being a sexual predator, pedophile, abuser, child molester, and other negative epithet. In the filing, Dersh said it was the truth that he was never in Epstein's residence in the presence of underage females, and the truth that Giuffre committed perjury as part of a scheme with her lawyers to falsely accuse him of sex trafficking as part of a criminal attempt to extort a settlement from another party. He's basically inferring she's just after the money.
And she's made it up and she's using Ghislaine's case. All right, whatever. Obviously, this kind of logic works for him and has over the years, being a constitutional law expert. But Virginia, Giuffre said this morning, she's taken a lie detector test and surprise, surprise, I'm telling the truth, which brings us back to my friend Shelley, the criminologist, who said she's got no doubt in her mind that Virginia is telling the truth. She's pretty believable.
Why the hell would anyone make up stories about being trafficked and abused and group sex, ending up in hospital because certain parts of your anatomy are bleeding for days on end when they shouldn't be? Why would you put that out publicly?
And the medical information from that visit.
It's ludicrous to think she's making this up. What for? Some money?
Jen, he's scared.
Very scared.
He's running scared. So tomorrow should be fascinating. I've spoken to Jen. We're ready to go. I'm going to get up at 4 a.m.
I'll just stay up all night.
Or maybe 5 a.m. for this phone conference about the documents. And then if something comes out, we're going to go hard. We're going to look at them as quickly as we can and then come in and let you know what we have. We might put some things up on the website.
Yep.
That's a quick way of getting news out instantly.
So what we'll do is we'll website stuff, we'll tweet links, Instagram links.
Do we want to do a live?
Oh, depends on how much coffee we've had.
We might. I think we should do a live.
We can do a live.
How do you all feel about that?
That's a bit scary, isn't it?
Us early in the morning. We'll see how we go with the live. There are a lot of developments going on in this case at the moment. Most of them are legal.
It's going to be good, this dump. Hopefully. It seems that Loretta, the judge, has been moving towards it. And Ghislaine has, of course, said, no, because it pertains to my intimate sex life and other names and blah, blah, blah. Oh, just don't give it over.
Yeah, exactly. Remember she was telling everyone that she gave George Clooney a certain service?
Oh, that's right. So you're not scared about your sex life being passed around because you talk about it. So what's the difference here?
Exactly.
It's the names. It's the other names mentioned.
Exactly. And more of her alleged crimes. Because it's a 7-hour deposition. This is what we're looking at getting tomorrow. 7-hour deposition.
I know originally when she was seen in Palm Beach, when they wanted her for a deposition, that's when she said, oh, my mother's sick and I've got to go to the UK. I have no plans of coming back. And then she was seen at Chelsea Clinton's wedding a week or two later.
I think that was around 2010, was it?
Yeah, whenever that was. Like
Peak Epstein.
Peak. So she knows there's so much in these documents that could hurt not just her, but a lot of other men.
Exactly.
And women. Yes.
Yes, Sarah Kellen Vickers.
And Leslie Groff, why did you change the title of 2 of your homes into your husband's name only back in December? Was it a Christmas present?
And who helped you build that house around 2003?
Yes, was it a gift, the house?
Maybe from her in-laws.
Possibly from her in-laws. You wouldn't think an employer would just hand over a
house.
house.
Who else was in her circle?
Oh, who else had the money
I don't know.
Give it a house?
Please let us know. We're very uncertain. We don't like to be uncertain.
We're very confused about Leslie Groff's home shenanigans.
Yes, we've even looked it up, the county records. It's fascinating. So, Jen, what have you got for us? I'm later going to talk about Bill Barr and Jeffrey Berman, but what have you got for us?
Yeah, this meeting tomorrow. So it's Virginia, her lawyers, against Alan and his lawyers, and also Ghislaine, and it says here, counsel for the parties in the above caption actions, that's Virginia versus Alan, Virginia versus Ghislaine, will appear for a telephone conference on June 23 at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The dial-in for the conference is blah, blah, blah. And with respect to Gruffey versus Maxwell, counsel for intervenors Miami Herald Media Company and Julie K. Brown, and counsel for non-party John Doe are welcome to dial in for this conference, but are not required to do so. So we actually have the number to ring in and the password, but we're not going to do it because obviously they must have realised by now these details have been leaked and they change it. Plus, we wouldn't want to screw up the girls' chances.
No.
No way. So if you're hearing this, don't ring the bloody number.
And also, I can't be trusted with a phone at 4 a.m.
Not if we know Dersh is on the other end.
I think I can call a pizza. That's probably it, the limit of my phone calling ability that early. Or an Uber.
Pizza Express?
Oh, Andrew's Pizza Express. Boom, boom. Okay, well, tomorrow will be fascinating. We're going to try and be all over it. And Rachel also wants to talk to us about it. But I just hope they're not redacted. I've been disappointed before when the judge said no to releasing the documents back in January. There's been a bit of back and forth.
Because there's been two lots of documents. There's the documents to do with the 2008, then these documents as well. But supposedly there's thousands of pages that may be released after tomorrow.
So that's going to keep people like Agent Hades on Twitter very busy. Who is Agent Hades? Agent Hades can find just about anything out that you want in this Epstein case.
We're like you.
I appreciate your work so much. Shout out. Now, I'm a bit angry and a bit silly because my brain is hurting because this whole sacking of Jeffrey Berman, he was the #1 prosecutor in the Southern District of New York. It has so many elements. It's multi-layered. The Turkish government, Trump's favoured dictators, Deutsche Bank, Roger Stone, Bill Barr, Berman, and the proposed banking guy. Oh, that's the SEO guy. Yep. The leadership page of the Southern District of New York currently does not have listed any deputy attorney. Unclear who is under the new lead attorney, Audrey Strauss, amid concerns she may be fired as well. As Jen said, this happened late Friday in the US.
Sort of like dump it out with the bathwater.
Yeah, the Friday afternoon dump. William Barr, now he's deep state. Do you want to know something about William Barr, Jen?
What have you got on him?
Who gave Jeffrey Epstein that job at the girls' school?
Oh, dear. At the Dalton School, wasn't that Barr's daddy?
Yeah, he was the principal.
Oh, so many links here.
I know. That's why I'm saying that Bill Barr is very, very deep state. But I kind of think he's a bit bumbling deep state. Can you be deep state if you're a bit of a, bumbler?
I think most of deep state is bumblers.
Okay. Well, how do they remain deep state then?
Well, are they deep state? Or just ineffectual and crap?
Or minions?
Minions. That's it. They're minions.
All right. So there was a standoff over the independence of law enforcement and the president's purge of officials he views as disloyal. Now, that's from the New York Times from yesterday. But what I'm shocked about, no one is really mentioning the Epstein case.
Because they don't want the spotlight on it.
No. The office under Jeffrey Berman has prosecuted Michael Cohen, who went to prison, and has been investigating Mr. Trump's current lawyer. Okay, so they mentioned this and that, but nothing about Epstein. And Jeffrey Berman last week was in a fight with Prince Andrew. Is that linked? Did Liz ring up and complain to Trump?
That was my first thought when I heard he'd been sacked, and then he's like, when Berman said, no, I'm not stepping down, it was like that transatlantic phone line would be burning red hot. Lizzie's been on the phone.
So Mr. Barr abruptly announced the resignation late Friday, and then Jeffrey Berman said, I haven't resigned and I will not resign until I get a replacement confirmed by the Senate. To understand this further, I came across a YouTube channel that has been created by former Washington, D.C. prosecutor Glenn Kirshner. Now, he said the Attorney General's perception of power is the motivation behind his screwed-up sacking of the Southern District of New York's top lawyer. So he doesn't care. He'll do it in any ham-fisted way he wants because he thinks that no one's going to challenge him.
It's just insane, isn't it?
Yep, it's absolutely insane. But because of Jen and I, we have a long memory. And I found this quote, and the secret artist, our secret artist, has put it into a meme for me. And the quote was, from Jeffrey Epstein, "This will go the whole way up to the Attorney General. You know Trump is my friend and Barr is his boy."
And that was said to?
Bradley Edwards, who is one of the lawyers for the survivors. So the New York lawman actually played the Attorney General, just made him look stupid. So then they negotiated some kind of truce where Berman's, what was she, second in charge?
Yeah.
Yep, she has the position. So we'll wait and see what goes on there. But he's only doing so, Berman said, because Barr backed off on his highly unusual transition plan, which was to put another person from another agency, the SEO, to put him in charge when he's never been a prosecutor any day in his life.
See, this is all designed to try and slow down any cases that they're dealing with at the moment. Not just the Epstein one, but other cases.
Well, it's even pissed off some Republicans. The House Judiciary Chair, Representative Jerry Nadler, put out a tweet that says he wants to immediately open an investigation into Berman's ouster, including additional steps to secure Berman's testimony.
Oh, if Berman talks.
Because there's a hearing on Wednesday, so in a couple of days, of the House Judiciary Committee.
I wonder if that'll be televised.
Well, you should be able to stream it, don't you think?
We're not going to sleep.
Oh, I'm terrible.
Oh, well.
I just need some sympathy at the moment because I can't eat wheat. I can't have dairy, and it's until July the 1st. I know it's boring hearing about people's diets, but I'm suffering.
So I've had to hide the chocolate.
Yes, I'm suffering greatly. So every Southern District of New York prosecutor I have spoken to in a decade, so this is a tweet by Adam Klasfelds, they've been fiercely independent and protective of the institution. They will guard it against any perception of interference. Is there a perception of interference now, Jen?
Oh, there certainly is, Mr. Barr.
And they won't want to be dragged into any controversy. Now, Bobby Capucci from the Jeffrey Epstein show, he thinks Barr is like an incompetent Darth Vader.
I think he's cracked it. He is incompetent.
Dun, 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 dun. I just think that's very, very interesting. So they don't want to drag the department into a national soap opera. Well, bad luck. We're in Australia and we've been dragged into the soap opera.
Yeah, we'll keep dragging it.
That's what happens when you're America in your big country. Decisions that are made there by people such as Trump and Barr, they have an impact.
It'd be interesting to see how the media is portraying this in America compared to what we get to see here.
They're far more open. Far, far more open.
Do they realise they're looking like absolute dick idiots? Dickwads? Dickwads. They look like dickwads.
What, you mean Trump and...
Yes, and Barr. Barr especially.
So, you also want to know another fact, Jen. Guess who is the only person that we know of who's looked at the tapes before and after Epstein's suicide?
The tapes that disappeared.
Yeah, they've been thrown out.
Or accidentally wiped or whatever. Would that have been Barr?
Bill Barr, and he said, "Do not worry anyone, it was just a succession of stuff-ups."
So we just should take Barr's word for it and everybody move on, and Jeffrey Epstein suicided. It was nothing to do with anything else.
Okay, so Jen had to just stop me saying some uncharitable things about Bill Barr for the sake of our podcast. But I just want to say it has not ended here.
If anything, this has drawn more eyes, more attention, and more anger towards the situation.
But why haven't the media said anything about the Epstein case being involved in this?
Are they being quiet, or is there just so much going on in the US at the moment that Epstein isn't a big deal at the moment?
Well, thank God for those documentaries.
It's really increased awareness.
Absolutely. Now, I'd just like to put out a request. We decided that I should start a Cats Judging Alan Dershowitz Instagram account. It's been moderately successful. I've had a few submissions, but if you would like to send me a picture at Prince and the Perv on Twitter, I'll put your cat on there.
And it doesn't have to be a cat.
But the account is Cats Judging Dershowitz. But yes, that could be discriminatory.
Yes, it would be. So therefore we have to take all applications of your pets.
I don't know, if someone has a salamander, if you have a giraffe, or if you have a turtle, or if you have a salamander, we will put it on there. I apologise for just keeping it to cats. Or you can email me at snarkarellas@gmail.com, because I worked out he's so litigious that the only way we can have some fun is with humour. And it is just our opinion, Dersh.
It is our opinion. Now, speaking of a bit of humour, I've had a bit of fun with Sarah Ferguson. And if you don't know who Sarah Ferguson is, well, you're very lucky for starters. She's the Duchess of York, the ex-wife of Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew, I don't sweat. I've never met that girl. So the Duchess of York, though some used to call her the Duchess of Pork before she went to Weight Watchers, she's been doing story time in the UK. So every afternoon she releases a video of her reading a kid's story, though occasionally there's been some cooking stuff as well thrown in. So I've been retweeting it. Yesterday's was Giraffes Can't Dance. Giraffes can't dance, but neither can Andrew, according to Virginia Roberts, who had to dance with him at Tramp nightclub. So I've been retweeting her stuff for quite a while, actually. She finally blocked me.
Or her minion.
Or her minion blocked me. So I'm blocked from Sarah's account. But, everybody just sends me screenshots of everything she puts up. So it's quite easy.
Wow, well done, Jen.
I know. So at the moment, she's also pushing on Sarah's Trust, her latest charity. Haven't been blocked from that, but we're just calling it Satan's Trust. If you find that hashtag, that's us.
Did you see it? Like, she's standing up there going, "We'll help you to make your life better." And I was just like, I'm all right with my life, except for the fact I can't have bread and milk. But we don't need you standing up there all judgmental, the world's biggest grifter, telling us how to live our lives.
See, it's just part of the let's make Prince Andrew look like a decent guy. It's all part of his PR, lawyer, management team thing. And she's been roped in to try and make him look good.
Well, it's not working.
With the whole issue tomorrow going on, is he the John Doe? Questions have been asked.
Well, quite possibly. And also, I just wanted to thank Anna. She has again gone to the charity store and gotten us all these Fergie books.
So I have to check the post office box.
Well, I actually said to her, what's going on with them? Because is there someone in your area who just likes Fergie books? No, they get sent to them by the book companies.
So the book companies, the publishers can't offload them, so they end up in charities.
Yes.
That's pretty sad.
It is pretty sad. And we have some exciting news. We've started our own Epstein chat room for our Patreon listeners. And we would really, really like to thank them. And that's one way that we'll do it. So if you join us on Patreon, you can come into our Discord channel. That's what the chat room's called. And we will talk Epstein to your heart's content. I think it's good, Jen, for when your friends and family have had enough of you talking about Epstein.
You can go and talk with people who understand it.
Exactly.
Who get the idea of why you're rolling your eyes.
Absolutely. So we wanted to thank Mary Kate, Brandy, Matt, Nicole, Tanya, Sue, Stephanie, Hillary, Tracy, Matt, and Nicole. Thank you so much for all your support. We greatly appreciate it. You can get early releases of our material and ask us anything. You might want to get some cooking tips from us.
From me?
Or from me. So thank you, everyone. We were really excited. Now we can pay for our website to be hosted and for our podcast to be hosted.
And how are we going with podcast figures?
130,000 downloads.
And where are we ranked?
In America or Australia?
Well, the UK one I really like.
Well, at one point we were number 4 in news commentary in Australia last month.
Yeah.
So that was good. That was a good day.
And we're really high up in the UK, which means Welsh, Scottish, Irish, English guys, you're all listening.
Yeah. I'm now having a bout of imposter syndrome.
Tall poppy, as we call it.
Yeah, someone will have to bring us down.
Oh, I'm sure someone's got something in mind.
Well, we want to thank you all for your support and for listening. We'll be back tomorrow, whether you like it or not.
Because tomorrow is the big news of the week. So, in a way, this is sort of a bit of a filler. Get ready for it.
Yes. So, in the meantime, follow us on Twitter at Lisa Podcasts, Kat's Judging Dershowitz.
On Instagram, I'm O'Reilly Truly. Plus, we have a Facebook group. Just search for Jeffrey Epstein.
We come up.
We come up.
It's the name of the podcast. We've got a YouTube channel as well. Many ways to listen to us and hear us. So thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, it's Lisa here. Do you want to help us produce the Prince and the Pervert podcast? One of our kind listeners has been asking how they can support us. So we've started a Patreon account, which not only benefits you in terms of extra content and exclusive content, it also helps us just cover our costs. At the end of the day, this is a labour of love, and we're determined to follow the case until the end. These women absolutely matter. That's why we're doing this work. And we are all in this together. Details of the Patreon account are in the show notes. Thank you.